Sorry, guys.
There it is. Did you hear that? He just barked.
What? Seriously?
No, no, no. Gmail.
High school one? No, no. Good thing we have each other now. Okay, so this is my page when I first start. So I'm in, and I can see all my, they call them canvases. So these are just all different canvases that I've created. And then you would just click to create a new canvas. Okay? So actually, you go ahead and click create a new canvas. And then you can give it whatever name you want. So you could just put the date, you know, and you could have one for every single day, or a class period, or whatever it is. And then you can choose how you want your board to look. You can even upload an image. It's whatever you like. And then now, so access to the canvas. For my own private use is just me. Like if I'm just taking notes. Like if I was sitting in a session and I was like, a way to take notes, I could totally use this. Show stickies to everyone means that other people may not post them, but they can see them. So like if you came to my board, you could see it, you just couldn't mess it up. Or everyone can post stickies. And this is how we would use it for exit tickets. So everyone can post stickies to one board. And then you have obviously a lot of other notifications if you want. And then other permissions. So then you would just say create canvas. And now you have a link, right? So you can shorten that link and then Crafty text it right out and everybody can jump on and go to work. So, I mean, that's literally how long it takes to create the canvas. Put it up, share it, go on with life. And then as you saw, I have all the canvases I've ever created are right there for me. And as far as I know, I have unlimited amounts to create, and it's a free account. And so now you have a really great exit ticket strategy. If you like this, things that are similar are Padlet is one. I'm trying to think if I know any others that are really similar. Any other ideas besides Padlet? The thing about this one is you got all these options about what you can do and exactly what you can post. And I think Padlet's gotten more and more of those. Also about Padlet, I think, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've used it because I usually use this one. But I think on Padlet you can click a button and it lays all the notes out a little bit nicer. So when that second grade teacher did her science one, they watched that video that day. And they came to the board and they put their pink sticky notes that had their vocabulary word. Well, then the next day, she had them watch the video again. And this time, it was go to that same board and use a green sticky note to post a question. Right? Day 3, watch the video again. Same link. This time, use a yellow sticky note, and I forget what else she had. I think it was an image. They had to find an image to add. And then at the end, the teacher took all those sticky notes and organized them all out, so you had one section of pink, one section of green, one section of blue, one section of yellow. And those second graders had this tremendous resource with all their vocabulary, all their facts, all their questions. And it was great, right? They were able to access it and use it. And then on the fifth day on Friday, she had a little quiz for them. And then she let them use that resource. Right? And so that video was a really important video. That video pretty much knocked out the main brunt of the content for that standard. So they'd seen that video 4 or 5 times. They'd interacted with that resource 4 or 5 times. And so by the end of the week, they really had that, like a lot of latch onto that content, a lot of memory of that content. They had a lot of discussion about it. They had a lot of interaction about it. They had fun making the board. All those things contribute to them remembering the content after that first few days.
So Chris, is this anonymous?
Yes.
How do I keep track of all my students?
It is anonymous. And so the only way that I've found to really kind of work around that is to just ask them to put their name on the sticky notes that they post. Now, for me, when I use this, it's not so much as me trying to track individual student data as much as it is either like trying to create a resource or just trying to provide a medium for discussion, feedback, that kind of thing. So I don't always have to know that it was Johnny who got the answer wrong, right? We can talk about it as a class. Johnny's going to know, right? And in his mind, he's going to have some fix-up strategies, hopefully, for that situation. But it's not always about grading, you know what I mean, and tracking. I know those things are important for us, and we have to do those things a lot of the time. But sometimes, can't it just be about, this is memory, it's, you know? And it allows me to provide a lot of feedback to my whole class at once. I can still see what the misconceptions are, right? I can still figure out what the things are that my students really latched onto or what they really have grabbed onto and remembered.
This was the option to highlight the new stickies. So if you're doing it a couple days in a row, you can just look at what's been added recently.
So is number 1 the most recent? Is that what we mean?
I'm not even
I
sure.
would say 1 is the most recent because this was the first thing I put on there today was this one.
Oh,
So that's a 10. And so now is the owner of the of this Lino, you can move things around. Usually. There we go.
so if you're posting something, can you remove your
You can.
own little post?
Yeah, in the lower right-hand corner of your own, you can peel it out.
Right?
Oh,
You
okay.
cannot, it's my understanding, as far as I know,
Peel
the
somebody
last time I used
else's.
it with students was probably a month ago, but you can't mess with other people's stickies, you can mess with yours. And as the owner of the board at this point,
Yeah.
Nate can do whatever he wants.
So can you only put images in there that are on your hard drive?
Yes, I think. Because you can choose a file, you can do here and go choose a file.
So it doesn't have the search, however, you could very easily open up another tab, do a Google search, download that photo, and then use it.
On tablet, you can remove stickers.
And like in one click, it's all nice and organized.
Oh,
If they
wow.
were inappropriate, you can remove.
Yeah,
Can't scroll down.
yeah, and that's true here too. He can remove anything he wants. Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, on the teacher view, so
Oh,
these
is it?
are ones that I didn't post. You've got the options here to edit, set a due date for it, send the sticky, copy to another canvas, or peel it out.
No.
So for me, this is a great exit ticket strategy. I mean, Nate was able to build the board for the first time in about a minute. He was able to get it to you in about another 10 seconds, and ta-da. Super cool strategy.
How did you do it? Okay, that's for the same thing.
And also a good note-taking tool, a good study tool, a good collaborative study tool.
Yeah, that works.
And that's one other thing too, like when you have students and you show them this stuff, like we say all the time, we don't teach technology, we teach with technology. And then they start doing it. So that happens in my world. I'll be teaching, and all of a sudden you'll see some little, I call them a task team, a table full of 5th graders start whispering for a couple seconds. And then next thing you know, some kids created and shared a board. And now they're working with it. Because that's okay in my world. They do that kind of stuff all the time. That's how I learn from them.
Questions?
So anyway, other questions about this
Can
one?
you comment on it, on all the students, like as a student, can I go in and comment on them? You can.
Well, you can edit their, so you could actually edit their
As
sticky, right?
As a teacher, but other
But as a
students.
student, could I go in and comment on others?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
What about with just another color sticky on
I
top
mean, you
of
could
it?
absolutely just drag another sticky right and put it right by it, and, you know.
So I could drag a sticky and put one by something.
Yeah, so I could, let's say, I like that post, I could just put a yellow sticky over the green one.
Okay.
But the way I would also do it, like I said, you know, it doesn't always have to be about tracking in their name. However, you could ask each student to put their name on their sticky, right? And so Johnny writes a sticky that has this great answer. And then Susie makes a sticky that says, at Johnny, I agree because blah, 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 and sticks it right by it. So you could give the assignment, share your response, comment on 2 other people's.
Right. that's
And
what I
then
was trying to do.
what they could then do is, so if Johnny put, you know, if, stay still for a second, so say this was Johnny's, and he had his name, Johnny, right? Then anybody, any one of you, could make a new sticky, and then just say, at Johnny, I thought you did great work, or whatever. When it comes to commenting, though, something positive, something specific, and then a good question. That's how we do it. So now, if Johnny had his name on here, we can, you know, match it up and provide feedback. It's a little bit of a workaround, I suppose, but it's a really great way to do it.
Sure.
Okay? And then I forget where we're at on time. What time are we done?
We got 15, or 12.
Okay. Maybe we should show some clicker action,
Yeah.
and then come back to Pear Deck.
Okay, you want to pass out the flickers?
Yeah, do we,
I know.
This is good.
Oh,
This is so cool.
well, so
I saw
let's do
this
this.
morning.
While they're passing out the clickers, let's look at those last couple of slides real quick.
Oh, sure, thank you. I'm sorry.
while the
I like to
clickers are
spend
coming
my
out, I want to show you
chair.
this one other thing. If you're on the slideshow, will you go to slide number 9 for me real quick? So, a really cool way to do exit tickets is with slides or drawings or documents, and just using the comment feature. Everybody kind of familiar with how comments work? So on a document, on a slideshow, on a drawing, whatever it is, you can insert comments, and there's a couple ways to do that. You can select some piece of what's there. So in this case, each one of these icons is selectable. You can just click it. And the way I do it in my classroom is we have a slide that we use, and it's got every kid's student number, computer number, whatever. And they would then click their number instead of an icon. So in my classroom, Susie A is number 1. So when number 1 gets highlighted and a comment's there, I know it's Susie, right? But right now we just have it with icons. So then you can insert a comment. So you could have your question up here for the day, like, what was the most important thing you learned about mitosis, right? And then each kid could highlight their number and insert a comment. So easy to do an exit ticket that way. You could have the slide have today's date and mitosis, right? And again, you could very easily, quickly create a Google Drive slide, get the link to it, show it to the class, they can click on their thing, they can put their comment. Now, let me just tell you a really quick story. I had this little buddy named Cade, and Cade was on the autism spectrum, and I love him dearly, and he taught me a ton about this idea. So I started with this idea, and here's what Cade did. Cade was like, Mr. Moore, this is lame, I don't want to write. Can I draw the picture? So here's what he did. He was like, look, what if I went into a drawing and made a drawing, got the link, and used that as my exit ticket, that link. So now, to explain his understanding of mitosis, he's drawn a picture, I can click on the link, because links work in comments, and I can see his writing. So that was super cool. But wait, there's more. So then, he was getting frustrated with Google Drawing. So then he was like, well, can I just draw the picture? Yes, you can. So he takes out a piece of paper, he draws the picture. His actually was a femur bone, and we were talking about red blood cells and where red blood cells are born and all that. So he draws this really scratchy, ugly cutaway picture. And he's like, but how am I going to get it on there? And so what I did is I took a picture of it with my phone. I use an app called Cam Scanner. Or you could just take a picture, whatever. But Cam Scanner is really nice for this specific purpose. I sent it right to him, right in the phone. So I walked up to him, I took a picture of his work, I emailed it to him, he got it. He pulled it out of the email. He dropped that picture into a drawing, his handmade picture, and posted that as his thing. These kids are always trying to outdo each other. So you know what happened next? Another kid drew a picture, but left these blank spaces on the picture that they drew. Put it into Google Drawings. Then started digitally adding arrows and labels and explanations to the handmade drawing. So now you have this handmade drawing with the digital content laid on top of it, and because you made it in Google, it's got a URL. So they take that URL and they post it as their exit ticket. So cool. You can do that with slides, drawings, documents, anything. Once your kids know how to insert a comment, great exit ticket strategy.
So what, I'm sorry, I missed the beginning. What is this box? Is it
Okay,
just-
so this is a slide, like in a Google slideshow, right? And what it used to be is you could select any little bit, like one letter, one anything, and insert a comment about that. And that's how it is in Docs still. But for whatever reason, with slides, if you picked anything on the slide that we had normally, it selected the box that that thing lived in. And so I couldn't tell who was what. Like at first, I just put numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But as soon as you clicked on a number, it highlighted the whole box of numbers. So I couldn't tell exactly who, unless they put their name, which I didn't trust.